What impact will the 2023 budget have on the real estate market and property? Well, if you want to know, then don't go anywhere. Watch this video where I give you my analysis of what the budget means for real estate in Zambia. If we haven't met, my name is Natasha Chumia. I'm the director of Diaspora Connect, and on this channel, I like to give you information and inspiration on the Zambian real estate market to help you in the diaspora become a more discerning property investor back home. Now, today I want to talk all about the 2023 budget and its impact on real estate. So if you like the sound of that, then give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of our videos. The theme for this year's budget is stimulating economic growth for improved livelihoods. But personally, I prefer what was in the budget speech where it said Zambia is back in business. I think that should have been the theme. So the economy has strengthened, investor confidence is back, but there's still a number of challenges, and the budget is really trying to see how it can address these challenges while improving people's lives. And I want to look at the budget and share with you what I think the impact will be on the real estate market. I'll be talking about the direct impact on housing and real estate, and then I'll look at other economic sectors and their effect on the real estate sector. Let's look at housing and real estate, the direct impact. So firstly, if you're thinking of buying property or you're in the process of buying property, then the first thing you should know is that property transfer tax, that's PTT, is going to go up to 7.5%, that's 7.5% from 5%. Now, what this means for you is that if you're in that process of a property transaction, then you really need to understand the terms of that purchase or the terms of that sale if you are selling. You need to understand who's going to pay that PTT because you may be paying more as either the buyer or the seller. Or you may find that if you have a contract already, it's a kind of hybrid where now that the rate is going up, the costs of it might be split between the seller and the buyer and maybe not split equally. So my advice is to contact your legal advisor so that they can advise you on who will be paying PTT and how much it'll be. Now, the second thing you need to know about this budget is if you're already a property owner and a landlord and you've got tenants, then you should know that the first 12,000 kwacha of rentals per annum is going to be tax-free. So this provision is really to help people who are earning a rental income of 1,000 kwacha per month or less to help them improve their livelihoods. So that first 12,000 kwacha per annum is no longer going to be taxed. Anything above that then will be taxed at the applicable rate. So what this means for you is that it's very likely that you're probably earning more than 12,000 kwacha per month. Per annum in your rentals. So you need to contact your tax advisor to find out what your tax obligations are going to be going forward. So now let's talk about how the budget this year is aiming to promote the construction of houses. There are a range of tax measures that are meant to incentivize businesses to build accommodation for their employees. And there are also tax measures that are meant to encourage farmers to do the same. That's build accommodation for their workers and make improvements to their farms. Not only that, but taxes on prefabricated buildings will be reduced. The tax on imported wall tiles and floor tiles is going to be increased. So this is to protect and support the local tiling manufacturing sector. These measures are also meant to stimulate growth of the construction sector and the supply chain, and also to encourage us to buy Zambian. So if you've bought a property and you're in the process of finishing it, then make sure that when you're looking at tiles that you are buying Zambian tiles. So let's support that local industry to grow. Let's just hope they're able to give us the quality that we want and they're able to be consistent. So now I want to talk about the different economic sectors and what measures have been introduced in this year's budget, which I think is going to have an impact on real estate in those economic sectors. I'm going to start off with agriculture. Agriculture continues to be a main priority for the government. Agriculture, livestock, and fisheries, these sectors are actually the largest employer of the Zambian people and sustain the most livelihoods. Now, because of the conflict or the war between Russia and Ukraine, the world is now looking to Africa to supply them more food. And the government in this budget has outlined different markets that have been secured for Zambia to supply food. So the trajectory of the agricultural sector is really looking up. Not only that, the government is planning on spending hundreds of millions of dollars to develop farm blocks in Nansanga in Central Province, Wishi in Copperbelt Province, and Luena in Luapula Province. Literally hundreds of millions of dollars will be going into these farm blocks. There's also an ambitious program to support 1.5 million farmers, small-scale farmers, through additional extension workers, through the building of 16 dams for irrigation, and through a repackaged farmer support program that's going to be called the Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program, which will include extensive measures to help farming and agriculture in Zambia. With this concentrated priority or emphasis on the agriculture sector, I think this really opens up opportunities for logistics in terms of real estate. So warehousing, storage facilities, cold storage facilities, and other logistical buildings are going to become in high demand. Not only that, but when government talks about developing a farm block, they're talking about providing roads, providing power, providing various types of infrastructure. And the surrounding areas will definitely be able to benefit from this added investment. So what we're going to see is probably the prices of agricultural land in these areas and surrounding areas will begin to appreciate. There has probably never been a better time to invest in small-scale farming because of the focus that is going to be given in agriculture in the coming years. So now let's move our focus to tourism. So we all know that tourism was hammered by COVID, but I'm really pleased to say that we're seeing a recovery in the tourism sector. So tourists at our international airports and of our borders has increased by more than 100%. Visitors to our game parks have increased by about 17%, mostly from domestic tourism. So this is showing an upward trend, a reversal of the terrible numbers that we're seeing because of COVID. So this is something really positive. On top of that, government is intending to continue bidding to host international meetings, and they're intending to also invest heavily in infrastructure in Cassava Bay, Liua National Park, and other tourism sites around the country. Now, how will people actually get there? Because if you've ever had to drive around Zambia because you want to be more adventurous in your tourism spots and go somewhere aside from Livingston, then you'll know that actually getting there can be such a headache. So the government actually plans to improve aerodromes to help us get around the country. The exciting things that was announced in this budget where tourism is concerned is the waiver of visa requirements for a host of countries in North America, in Europe, and in Asia and other parts of the world. So what do all these measures mean in terms of real estate in the tourism sector? Not only is there opportunity to build hotels and lodges, but there's also the opportunity to build other social and recreational facilities. Because when tourists come and visit, they want to be kept busy, they want to be entertained, and that's where the real opportunities are. We need to build infrastructure and facilities that will make them spend their tourist dollars in Zambia. And of course, it also means that if you are Zambian living in the diaspora and you are married to a non-Zambian spouse from one of these countries, you no longer have to worry about applying for a visa for your spouse either before you travel or when you get to the airport. So this will be another big boost to visitor numbers in Zambia. So the next sector that I want to talk about is health and education, and I want to take them together because those are two important social sectors. So what we're seeing in this budget is that there will be hundreds of secondary schools built across the country. Some of them are already being built and will be completed, and then there's another phase where they're going to be building even more schools, new schools across the country. Early learning centers will also be built across the country. And we're also going to see the government investing in polytechnics so that they can give youths certain skills, various skills that they can use to get jobs, to trade in a certain craft. In addition, the government is going to continue building and completing hospitals, mini hospitals, and health centers. So what does this mean for real estate? So of course, there is so much opportunity for medical real estate. I know a number of you in the diaspora are doctors and nurses, and you're specialized in other areas of healthcare. There'll be tremendous opportunity to invest in medical real estate. Laboratories, testing centers, and a number of things. In addition, because of this huge increase in the civil service, which will be deployed all over the country, there is an urgent need for decent and affordable housing all over the country. This hasn't changed. And of course, social facilities are very, very important. And there's a huge shortfall in this area. If you've been following me on social media, we've already started to see this trend, and I posted about it on one of my posts about how in Western Province, the teachers who've been deployed there actually have nowhere to stay. So this is now something to start thinking about when you're thinking of property investment for the future. One of the other things we're seeing in this budget is that the government is intending to invest in those border towns. One example is the Kazungula Bridge. The Kazungula Bridge Authority is meant to be established so that they can operationalize a 24-hour border post. So what does this mean for real estate? I think for me, this is actually the most exciting part, because it means that you don't have to be constrained by looking at Lusaka, Lusaka, Lusaka. Look, we are a Lusaka-based real estate agency, but from last year's budget and this year's budget, what I can see is that opportunities are opening up across the country, especially if those local economies are going to be stimulated. If we look at the border posts and the border towns, especially where they want to introduce a 24-hour border post, there are so many opportunities to build strip malls, to build lodges, to build other facilities, supermarkets, that can cover the demand of what that local population will require. Okay, so this is my analysis of how this year's budget is going to have an impact on the real estate sector in Zambia. Now, what I did is I just gave you the highlights, the broad brushstrokes. If you want to know more, if you want to go into detail, then you can download our budget analysis of 2023 on the property and real estate sector. All you need to do is click on the link below this video, and you'll be able to get your own copy of my detailed budget analysis. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you found it informative and useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other Zambians in your network, in your community, who you know are interested in property back home. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of our videos. We have such good content coming up for you guys. But otherwise, if you would like to connect with us on social media, then please connect with us there. We love to chat with you. But otherwise, it's bye for now.